It's that time again. Hello everyone on the interwebs. My name is Jared and welcome to the Mazda B3K channel. Today's video is yet another oil change. This time the vehicle is a 2016 Ford Transit Connect driven by my wife. It's powered by a very boring but reliable Duratec 2.5 liter 4-cylinder front-wheel drive engine. So this video for the oil change is going to be applicable to a whole host of Ford vehicles that all are powered by the Duratec 2.5 liter. Without further ado, let's get started. First thing we notice here is this van sits pretty low, so it needs to go up on ramps so we can even try to do this change. I need to get these lined up. Once I do, get the van up there, I will bring everyone back. Okay, we're up on ramp, so let's give her a shaky shake. Make sure there's no surprises. No surprises. Cool. So, I am running out of light. Turn these lights on. Believe it or not, I do have power out here. They don't do a lot, but it's something. So normally there is a belly cover on this vehicle. It is not on right now because I took it off to do a transmission drain and fill, and no, thank you. I never got around to putting it back on. So I will be making a video about that. The transmission drain is right there. Little tiny guy. I need to flush it one more time. Ford lies when it comes to the 6F35 transmission. You need to flush it about every 30,000 miles if you want the transmission not to go boom. And, you know, they told everybody like 60 or 80. That's a lie. Anyway, point is, we don't need to take that cover off. Everything we need is here. So, there is our filter. And over yonder is our drain bolt for the oil. And I think that is a 16. So, I'm going to go grab that. I'm going to slide the pan in, and we're going to get on it. One thing that I forgot to mention, and I didn't mention this in some other videos that I made today, is before you open a drain, you should always make sure you can open the fill. In this case, we can. It's right here. Because if you drain everything out, and then you can't open your fill, particularly with oil, you're not going anywhere. You've got a boulder. So, that works. Calls for 5W20. Too bad. I'm putting in 10W30. Narny boo boo. It's not going to hurt the engine. It may fractionally decrease the fuel economy because the oil's a little thicker. But honestly, I don't think so. We'll get to that in a minute. But now that we know we can get this open, we've got our dipstick right here. And we'll go down below, go ahead and pop that drain bolt, and we'll get the oil out of here. Alright. After a bit of a battle here, I managed to pop this loose. Alright, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Stay on target. Almost. Boing. Ooh, that's hot. And of course, it lands in the one place I don't want it to land. Awesome. Alright, got it out. Forgive the giant hand in the way. So, again, this oil is dark, but good. I don't smell gasoline in it. Just used oil. It's ready to be changed. So life is good. I'm going to let this finish draining, and then we'll go ahead and cap it back up and turn our focus to the filter. Okay, so here is our spin-on oil filter. And it is, if you're interested, Wix part number 51348. I'm replacing it with a Wix XP filter. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, I got to break this thing loose. So the question becomes, has it super glued itself to the block, or will I be able to get it out? Let's see. Definitely going to be a two-handed operation. I'll bring you back. Survey says not super glued, so I was able to get it loose with one hand. And I've gotten it loose enough now. The oil's draining out that was being held in the filter. We'll let that drain all the way down. And then I'll grab the new filter and I'll prep it. We'll do some video of prepping it, and then we'll bring it in and swap it. I want the box down here so I can put the old filter in the box the new filter came in. So, bring you back then. Today's flavor of dinosaur is Mobile One High Mileage 10W30. This vehicle has over 100,000 on the clock, and Mobile One makes a pretty good oil, and it's full synthetic, which was what I've been running ever since I bought this vehicle at around 17,000 miles. Now, all that said, you could use a simple oil like SuperTech, which is the Walmart house brand, as long as you had a little bit shorter oil change interval and you stuck with it. But I like using the 7,500 mile interval, so I use nicer oil. But the key here is actually this guy, the Wix XP filter. Notice it is 51348, just the XP variant. You're wondering, why is that dude going to go out and pay 12 bucks for a filter? I'm going to pay 12 bucks for a filter because the filtration material, filtration media matters. You can go out and you could pay 3 bucks and pick up a SuperTech filter. And it may even have a anti-drain valve, which is good. But the actual filtering material inside, if you were to cut this guy open, is inferior. And that really matters because all oil in modern engines does get run through the filter. And the filters that have the higher quality, better catching properties, where they can catch all the sediments that are flowing through in the oil, they're going to keep your engine healthier longer, because if it doesn't get caught, those sediments act like sandpaper and they bounce around inside the metal parts of your engine and they wear things away. Over the years and the thousands of miles, they wear things away until things aren't as tight as they used to be, and suddenly you're wondering why the fuel economy has gotten a little bad, or it doesn't feel like it has the power it used to, or maybe even you're blowing a little smoke out the exhaust. All these things can happen if you don't use a decent filter and keep your oil clean. So, spend 12 bucks, get a good filter. Cheapest insurance you'll ever do for your car, trust me. Now, I like Wix. They're well known for making high quality filters. They also go under the name of Napa Gold if you buy from Napa. There are other companies that make good filters. Fram makes their Fram Ultra filters are good. I wouldn't use a regular Fram, but Fram Ultra is good. Mobile One makes a good oil filter. And those are about the only ones I trust. I'm sure there's others that are high quality. I just haven't researched and vetted them. So anyway, I finished my spiel on oil. We're going to go ahead and open this guy up, which should already be open. Come on. There it goes. Alright, and we're going to pre-fill the filter. And we can pre-fill it because this is how it mounts, vertically. So we don't have to worry about oil spilling out. So we'll go ahead, do the pour. Somehow, amazingly, I have not spilled it everywhere. Oop, oop, oop. Little displacement there. I'm not worried about that oil right there. So at this point, as you can see when I jiggle it, we're pretty full of oil, which is good. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this oil sitting on the surface. We're going to lube up our mating O-ring that winds up mating to the block. We want a nice, smooth, solid connection so that oil doesn't come spewing when it comes up the pressure, which would be bad. Had that happen before. And I haven't pulled the old filter yet, but when I do, one of the things I'm going to look for is to see if this O-ring is still attached. Every once in a while, the O-ring won't stay with the filter and it'll stay stuck on the block of the engine. And if you're not paying attention, you wind up with an O-ring next to an O-ring when you spin the new filter on, and that will not hold. You will start to spew oil everywhere. It look like a drive-by shooting. Not to mention the fact you don't catch it fast enough, you're going to lose all the oil in the block, and it'll seize on you in short order. So we definitely want to check that. I'm going to go ahead, slide back under the vehicle. We're going to get the old filter off. It looks like it's finished draining. We'll check for the O-ring, and then we'll go ahead and spin the new filter on. Alright, as you can see, there is no O-ring up against the housing on the block, so we're good there. And I already verified that the old matches the new as far as the number 51348. So we'll go ahead and we're going to spin the new filter on. So I got the old filter sitting here in my catch pan draining. That's what's going on there. Alright, so this is a pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy kind of thing. It's threaded, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So spin it to the right until you feel it catch. At that point, you're golden. Now, obviously, it's got to be tight. But, alright, so you see it's tightening up. You do not need to gorilla this. Turn it to about right there. That's it. Done. You crank this on tight, it will basically glue itself to the block, and you're going to have to drive a screwdriver through it to rip it back off. Ask me how I know. Alright, so we are done down here, and we're going to head topside and go ahead and refill. Those of you out there that have the Duratec 2.5, and it's front wheel drive, so that means it's sitting sideways, transverse. One thing that's kind of obnoxious is the oil fill is recessed. If you use a standard short funnel, it ain't going to work. So you need to use a longer funnel like this. These work okay. Go ahead and open up our Mobile 1 here. This should take right at 6 quarts. So that out of the way. Alright, 9 to 4. Question, can I do it one-handed? Answer, let's find out. Blurp, 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 blurp. So this holds 5 quarts. We're going to go ahead and get that in there. Wait a minute, let it go down. Good news is there's enough funnel sticking in there, it'll hold itself up. So don't have to worry about it falling over, which is a nice thing. All right. Whoa, almost too much. Almost too much. Gotta wait. Oh, going down, going down. All right, so that is 5 quarts plus what we preloaded in the oil filter. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to check the dipstick. See what we have here. Oh, there's a dipstick. Let's see what it says. And out we go. It says you need to wipe me down. It says I am not going to give you a good reading. So let me wipe it down. Alright, forgive the funny grab here, but here we go. you may not be able to see it, but how this is reading right now that I'm getting a good reading, is we're about halfway in the crosshatch. So we're about halfway in the butter zone, and that's being very fuzzy. I apologize. That's better. So I'll put a little bit more in, but we are basically good. Okay, so you're at the end of the job, you changed the oil, things look good. How do you clear the warning? Well, at least in this vehicle, because it doesn't have a whole lot of nerd knobs in it, what you have to do is put the key in run or accessory as far as you can before cranking it, and then put your foot, see if I can show you this, hard to see, put one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the gas, and that should, yep, there it goes. Keep holding it until you get an okay, and it takes a minute. Gotta do some elevator music here. Probably the PCM they're using is made of Doritos, stale ones. Alright, so we got a complete message. You can let go, and that's it. The oil life meter has been reset, and we're good to go for another 7,500 miles, which is what I have this one set to. So now I'm gonna go ahead and crank it, and we're gonna get it off the ramps here. Okay, nobody's behind me. Alright, so we'll set it about right here. We'll let it idle a minute. Make sure everything looks good. So actually I'm gonna pop the hood. Oh, that's right, I forgot. Ford, in all of its genius, made it so that you have to open the door to pop the hood. It's brilliant. Good job, Ford. Alright, so we let that run. Go ahead and pop this guy back open. Alright. So look good there. A little bit of drip, not a big deal. This is good, it's in. When we get low, I'm gonna take a look down yonder. I don't see any drips coming off the pan or any drips coming off where the oil filter is, so I declare this a win. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me and for this video. If you liked what you saw today, please like, share, subscribe. Anything that you do in that regard helps me out to grow the channel, to maybe even get the money together to get something other than my cruddy smartphone as the camera. So, until next time, later.